Did you ever spend time with the guy? Did you ever meet Diddy?
I've met him before, yeah.
How was he?
Very nice guy, very smart, super business. You know, I mean, he's very successful.
He said, nobody that I deal with, nobody that I know is going to do anything with y'all. No business at all.
Gene Deal's last appearance was nothing short of intense. A bold and fearless moment of revealing the truth before vanishing without. A trace one moment he was seen on camera tearing into Diddy's reputation with a level of focus that felt almost clinical. The next moment he had disappeared, no message. No signal, not even a farewell. His relatives say they witnessed it, their eyes wide in shock as men they claimed were linked to Diddy. The same familiar faces often seen near Combs over the years forced Gene into a black SUV and drove off fast, like a scene straight out of a mob film. No badges shown, no words spoken, just for doors shutting and the car slipping into the darkness. That was the last time anyone laid eyes on him. And to be clear, it was not subtle. It was a warning.
Pictures of the dude pulling his pants down, and it looked like some gay act that was going on. He got on the phone. He said, let me tell you this.
The tension had been building for months. Gene wasn't just some disgruntled ex-bodyguard looking for attention. This man knew where the bodies were metaphorically and maybe literally buried.
Gene had stood in the middle of it all inside hotel rooms and private spaces next to Diddy. During the very period now described by authorities as a criminal operation in his final sit-down, Gene held nothing back. He exposed secrets many in the industry only whispered about but never dared record. He called out Stevie J's so-called gangster image he claimed. Diddy was given a heads up the night Biggie was killed. He shared dates, facts, and long-held anger. But when the interview ended, that is when the fear started creeping in. Gene had been cautioned more than once. Those close to him say that in the days before the interview went live, he began receiving strange phone calls from blocked numbers with threatening voices and demands. To back down, one caller allegedly said, "Take it back, or take what is coming." But Gene showed no fear in public, even though friends say he knew danger was near. One person who requested anonymity said Gene told him directly, "They are not going to. Let me speak forever." Those who cared about him urged him to be careful, maybe even disappear for a while, but Gene did not believe in hiding. He believed the truth was overdue, and now he is missing.
You know, but it just seems very suspicious when you go through and you look at in the history of different people that can make you go away if you know. Listen, I've worried about some of the things.
It did not take long before the internet exploded with theories, but one name keeps surfacing, whispered in private chats in secret conversations. The cleanup group. It sounds fictional, but within Diddy's circle, it has become something feared. Insiders claimed this shadowy group was used to quietly eliminate issues, not with press releases or lawyers, but with far more serious tactics. Think silencing witnesses, forcing people into silence, clearing reputations, and when necessary, removing people completely. And if there is even a shred of truth to these claims, then Gene may have been number one on their list.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at. He has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now.
The rumors are precise in nature. One former road manager told a podcast that when things became too risky, Diddy stayed clean while others handled the dirty work. These individuals had no formal connection and could not be traced. And if you compare that with the sudden silence from people who had once spoken out, the pattern becomes clear. Take victim 3, the key witness in Diddy's federal case, who was supposed to speak out about being forced into disturbing private parties. She was prepared to reveal her identity in court, then she vanished. No phone activity, no legal response. Not even the prosecutors could reach her. Does that sound familiar? This is not. It's just about one person disappearing. This looks like a system designed to shut people down with skill and accuracy, a network operating through fear. And if any part of these stories holds, wait, it points to a culture of control built to last. The authorities say they have enough to keep Diddy behind bars for now, But the real question is he still in command from within? Some believe so. A recent legal document even accuses him of using others to influence witnesses from inside prison, using inmate call codes and third-party lines. This is not just speculation. This is a federal accusation that goes beyond power. This is a system.
When we got back to New York City, Wendy Williams was in Philly at a new station.
And Gene may have been the last living person willing to lay it all out, willing to explain how. Biggie's final hours were anything but random, willing to draw the lines connecting. Stevie J mazed the Crips in what was or was not said before that. Night in Los Angeles, during his final interview, he even confronted Stevie, challenging how someone who was once like family could now deny the past I do not know when he became a gangster.
Ow.
Gene said, criticizing Stevie for what he called ego-fueled storytelling, possibly under the influence it is, the substances, bro, he added. The whole thing felt like a planned fire, and now all that remains is the smoke. Gene's takedown of Diddy was personal, but it also felt like a prediction looking back. It reads more like a farewell. He knew too much, said too much, and upset people with everything to lose with. Diddy now facing life-altering charges like trafficking and coercion. It is not hard to imagine a desperate attempt to clean up loose ends. Especially now that more than just images are on the line, we are talking serious time assets being taken in names, being dropped in court papers that read like scripts, and now Diddy's name is once again tied to the Shocker case through sworn statements. That claim he offered millions for Shocker and Suge Knight, this quote is not from rumors. It is in a police transcript where Keefe D. says Diddy told a group, "I will give anything for that man, whether that was ego or a bribe." It is something that refuses to fade, just like Gene. And here we are. The public is watching, the family wants answers, and the man who tried to speak up has vanished. No posts, no sightings, not even a hint, and the timing feels far too convenient with a trial underway. A celebrity under fire and a witness disappearing after naming names. This does not feel random. It feels like a plan, but if the goal was to shut Gene down, it may have had the opposite effect. Now more people are watching Diddy than ever before. More questions, not fewer, are being raised. Who is protecting him? Who is taking his calls from behind bars? And how many more insiders will be scared into silence before another person disappears, or worse?
I'm just like, really, I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck during those years. You're still stuck 21 years later.
Because the deeper you go, the harder it becomes to ignore the cycle whispers of a celebrity who led with charm in public and control in private. An empire not just founded on music, but on fear. The headlines talk about charges and hearings, but the true story may be unfolding in the shadows where threats are whispered, and people like Gene Dial are taken away without return.
People came through his orbit. How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it for so long?
Now, the silence surrounding Gene Deal is not just strange, it is overwhelming. His absence is not some conspiracy hidden on fringe websites. It is being discussed in courtrooms, mentioned in federal agencies, and exchanged among reporters like a secret file, because what is happening here is not a one-off. It is part of a pattern, one that is starting to look like a strategy. First it was Gene, but just before that, officials involved in the case against Diddy admitted they had also lost contact with victim 3, a major witness in the human trafficking case. She was set to testify under her actual name with details powerful enough to break the case. Then she vanished along with her attorney, phones off. Doors locked, not even a notice. Saying she was backing out, just complete silence.
Talk about the filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial. This, of course, is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done horrible things.
We are not talking about some extra. We are talking about a federal witness. Someone chosen to deliver powerful courtroom testimony, and yet somehow the government says they are not sure if she will appear. Meanwhile, Diddy, despite being behind bars, has been accused of abusing his phone privileges, illegal filing revealed. He was allegedly using other inmates' access codes. It's making illegal three-way calls and trying to sway witnesses from his cell. This is not hearsay, this is from the judge, so. If a major witness disappears and the defense still seems ahead, do we really think that is just chance?
Be interesting is the parade of celebrities who we expect to be mentioned and or called into that courtroom. You know, people who we hadn't heard about prior, like Mike Myers, you know, Austin Powers, Mike Myers. Why is he getting called? Why is he on the witness list? That'll be fascinating. And then, of course, there are the no-name, quote unquote, women who are going to have to find every ounce of courage they have.
What if these are not just disappearances? What if this is a calculated process hidden behind accidents? Because it is not only... Gene and Victim 3 insiders say this has happened before and is only now becoming visible, one entertainment attorney. Speaking anonymously, said plainly there is a reason no one sues him unless they are already ready to run, and that fits over time. Many accusers have walked away before testifying. Instagram accounts vanish, settlements are reached quickly and locked down. Cassie Ventura only managed to speak out because her evidence was impossible to cover up, and even she was reportedly paid millions quickly to stop more from leaking. So the real question is, if this much is happening in public, what is happening in the background?
They saw evidence in the case. They immediately honed in on racketeering, and they started saying, why is this racketeering with one guy? And they're charging this one guy. They had a real problem with that. They did not have a problem with the Mann Act. They found him guilty on the Mann Act, and they hung 6 to 6 on racketeering.
This is where the talk of Gene Deal's final recordings becomes explosive. Multiple sources in the documentary scene claim Gene was collecting a personal archive of audio and video, covering years spent around Diddy, not interviews or gossip, but raw behind-the-scenes material. Some say the footage named names, used specific codes for the infamous parties, and even noted which celebrities. Paid to stay anonymous, one former producer said, there is at least one video left unreleased that could destroy Diddy's case, and here is the twist. Word is that federal agents may already have it. That brings up a dark thought. If they have the recording, why has it not been made public? Is it being held for a larger case, or worse, is someone ensuring the world never hears it? We have seen this before, hidden evidence, sealed cases, and national security being cited when powerful people are involved. And remember, Diddy is not just a rapper. He is a media figure with long-standing links to politics, business, and entertainment. The list of people at risk. If everything came out as not short, if Gene's last move was to record the truth, then it is no surprise he disappeared before he could hit upload.
Honest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers described the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious trafficking charges in a New York.
Meanwhile, the justice system moves slowly. Jury selection. Rap's media stay outside, and Diddy's legal team plays defense, using well-paid experts like Tenny Garagos, the kind of lawyer who handles serious charges without blinking yet. Even they seem unsettled by the uncertainty in their witness list. This trial could go on for months, but behind the scenes, everything is happening faster. Papers, sealed witnesses, warned testimonies pulled each time a name reaches the news. It is either silenced or vanishes. What are we not being shown? The mental weight of speaking out from inside. Diddy's world is its own story. Over the years past, staff and artists have spoken out with serious claims only to face attacks, smear efforts, or sudden legal threats. The warning was clear: speak and pay for it. Some retracted their stories. Others disappeared from view altogether. A few, like Mark Curry, once part of Bad Boy, have shared feelings of being drained emotionally. Their stories reveal a place where loyalty was enforced, not by trust, but by fear. A fear that lingers long after the spotlight fades.
All of those things that you just said are also included in the racketeering count. So we don't know what the vote is. It's hard to read what.
One former driver using a fake name told a podcast he became so paranoid after going public he stopped leaving his house. Another security expert said he got voicemails describing his wife's workplace and his child's school schedule, the threats were never directly traced back, but the timing made it clear these were not just trolls online. They were detailed threats meant to remind people. They were still in reach. If Diddy's supposed cleanup crew exists, then this is not paranoia, it is procedure. What we are seeing with Gene and others fits a pattern. This is not just about keeping people quiet. It is about cutting them off. Whistleblowers in Diddy's worlds often find themselves alone as friends walk away and connections vanish, jobs dry up, platforms go silent in an industry where who picks up your call can mean survival. Being ignored feels like punishment, and still for those who spoke despite the risks, their presence proves just how far others may go to bury truth.
Centerpiece of a lot of what happened during direct testimony were freak-offs. And what the prosecution tried to show was that he forced and or coerced her into doing these freak-offs. And we've talked about this earlier this week, that at least my opinion is that in a lot of these, the prosecution just didn't close the loop. It was something.
Because when you look at the big picture, Gene's disappearance seems less like an isolated case and more like the beginning of a wider system. His story reaches across everything from East Coast, West Coast feuds to Biggie's final moments, and even the resurfacing claim that Diddy once put a price on Tupac Shakur. Yes, that story is old, but it is back now, being mentioned in sworn police interviews in one hidden recording. Keefe D., who is now facing charges in the Shocker case, says Diddy offered anything for Tupac's head, real or not. That is a line you do not forget. And with Keefe in custody and Gene missing, it feels like the past is catching up fast. This is not just about one man. This is about how power shields itself, how the system protects the rich, the connected, and the brutal. The warning signs were always there behind fancy clothes, hit records, and secret parties in Malibu, but now those cracks are turning into open gaps. People are beginning to speak, lawsuits are adding up, more names are being revealed, and still the fear is louder than ever. And that fear is what makes Gene Deal's silence feel like a scream.
That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there, because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, you...
So this is where we are: a bodyguard who told the truth and vanished, a court case missing its central witness, a music empire accused not just of corruption, but of building a machine powered by fear, and a possible recording hidden or seized that might tear the whole thing apart. If that recording exists and goes public, the consequences could be massive. If not, maybe it already did what it was meant to do, which brings us to the question we should all be asking: if someone like Gene Deal can be taken during daylight while still being filmed, what happens to the rest of us if we speak? Who is guarding the truth, and more urgently, who is next? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Is this justice finally catching up, or just the system closing ranks again? Stay alert, stay vocal, and do not look away, because in this story, silence is not just unsettling.